Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we will be exploring how to divide a whole number by a decimal number and a decimal number by a whole number through a long division. Now in long division, we have a few rules that we need to follow. And let us first define those rules. Now there is an acronym for this where it goes dad, mother, sister, brother, and Rover the dog. And what these stand for are divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and R stands for remainder. And these are the rules. Whenever we do long division, we have to follow these steps. And in a moment, I'll show you how I would do this. Okay. Now in this video, since we're talking about dividing a whole number by a decimal number and vice versa, I put forward two equations to solve. So the first one would be 2.5 divided by 5, and I say the answer would be x, where x is the quotient or the result of this division, the answer for it. And number 2 would be 5 divided by 2.5, and I said this equals to y, where y equals to the quotient of this division. Now before I go ahead and do the long division, I just want to identify a few parts of these equations, in particular number 1. I just show you for example. So 2.5 and 5. So 5 is my divisor. And 2.5 is my dividend. And the same thing goes to the second one. However, in the second one, 5 is our dividend. So 5 is our dividend, and 2.5 is our divisor. Okay. So let's work on number 1 first, and then we move on to the other one. So number 1 is, and we want to put this in a long division format. So it would be 2.5 long division 5. So in this case, what we will do is we will simply just place a decimal point in our dividend right above in the quotient area. So I'll put it over here, and the decimal point will go over there. For now, we just ignore the decimal point in our dividend area. We put the decimal point in our quotient area when we do our long division format. So if I were to write this again, it would be 5, and then it's 25, and then remember the decimal point is right above where the decimal point was in the beginning. And I go through the steps, the rules that we talked about through the long division. So first is 5. So I ask myself, how many times was 5 going to 2? So I'm basically dividing it, and this would be 0. And then I'll multiply, say 5 times 0 is 0, and I put it right below 2, and I subtract. So this would be 2. So, and then I bring the 5 down, and I have my remainder. And after this, I do the same thing again, where I say how many times was 5 going to 25, and this one would be 5 times. So I said 5 times 5, 25. I subtract, the answer is the remainder is 0, and there's nothing else to come down. So therefore, my answer is x, where x is our quotient, the result of this division, equals to 0.5. Okay, so in this scenario where your dividend is in decimal format, you just have to place a decimal above the division line where the quotient area would be, and for that time just ignore the decimal point and the dividend area. Okay, like the same thing we just did. Feel free to explore any of these equations. Before I do it, pause the video so you could try it yourself. And it's okay to make a mistake because we will go over this, and even if you get it, this might be just another way of doing it, or just a refresher. Okay, let's do number 2 now. So same thing like we did with number 1. Let us put it in a long division format. So we put 5 and 2.5 over here. So this one is a bit different. This one, we don't have our dividend in a decimal format. We have our divisor in decimal format. So what I would do over here is I multiply the divisor by 10, so making this a whole number. And when I do it, it becomes 25. So I multiply the divisor by 10. And whenever I do this, I have to do the same thing to the dividend. So this would be times, so 5 would be times 10 as well. So if I were to rewrite this again, I'm just going to shift it over here. Rewrite this again, it would be 50, because 5 times 10 is 50, and 2.5 times 10 is 25. Now it seems like a regular whole number long division, 2-digit long division. So I'll do the same thing as I always do. So first I divide. So I say how many times does 25 go into 5? So that would be 0. I multiply 0 to 25, it would be 0, 0. So I bring 5 down, and I have my 0 to bring down. Okay. So that's 50. So I'm going to see now how many times does 25 go into 50. It would be 5 times. Would it? Check your answer. It would be 2 times. Checking to see if you're aware of what is going on at the moment. So this would be 2 times. And the way is to just multiply it to see if you get the same answer as the remainder. So 2 times 25 equals 50. So I put 50 over here, and I subtract. Now my remainder is 0, and I have nothing else to bring down. So therefore, my answer to this division is, so therefore, y equals to 2. So the answer for this would be 2. So we explored the concept of dividing a whole number by the decimal point and vice versa through 2 different ways, and depending how and what number you're getting and how you would like to proceed with it. Now, there are probably other ways to do this, and these are just a few ways to do it. But the rules always stay around. I hope this video helped, and thank you.